In C Groove, you can do roll cancels and you can do super cancels. You can start a super and then get, yeah, see, I love that. Just roll right through that fireball. Okay, turn it off. That's all we can afford. What's going on, you guys? Steve here. I'm really excited because today we're going to be checking out one of my favorite games of all time, Capcom vs. SNK 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. I'm actually going to be playing this using my modded Green Goblin arcade stick for the Sega Dreamcast. This is actually a soft mod project that I did. I'm super proud of this. I changed the sticks, the buttons, the faceplate. I made this design for the overlay in Photoshop. I got all the replacement parts from Focus Attack. I'll probably make a dedicated video to show how I made this. But yeah, I'm going to be using this and we're going to play the game. The Sega Dreamcast port of CVS2 was really interesting for a couple reasons. It was a Japanese exclusive, and also this was the first cross-platform console game ever. It featured online multiplayer, and it would pair you up in servers with Dreamcast players and PlayStation 2 players. That was honestly unheard of back in 2001 at the peak of the console wars, because every single console had different games. They had different franchises. Even if they did have the same game across different platforms, you could only play online for some games with that same platform. It's a really cool game for a bunch of different reasons, and yeah, let's just check it out. So I figured we could just get into an arcade run and just yap about the game. Honestly, this game has so much charm and so much character. I love this groove system. Essentially, each one of these grooves is a different mechanic system from a different type of Capcom or SNK franchise. I think C Groove is pretty fun. This is one of my favorites. It's one of the easier grooves to understand. It gives you basically 3 level 1s or various types of supers. Let's go with a pretty simple team. I like playing mid-tiers, low-tiers. I think that's just more interesting. There's a lot of people in competitive play where they just play mirror matches of top tiers, and I think that's really boring. People can do whatever they want, but I just like spicing it up when I play this. There's so much tech and so much nuance with all of the characters and all the different grooves. There's people still finding stuff to this day, and this game is like 25 years old, so that just shows how deep the game really is. It honestly built on everything the original game had going on. I like that little cross-up move. Oh, okay. The original game had a pretty limited roster. It was basically just, you know, the core KOF characters versus Street Fighter. And this game basically took that roster and it was on steroids. What the heck? That didn't finish? Weird. On top of the roster being bigger, it added the groove system, which features more mechanic systems from various franchises. Pop. I want to see if I can get a level 3 cancel. I'll try it on the next character, I guess. The original CVS also had issues with the balancing and some of the mechanics. It took so long to build meter in that game. Like, it would take the entire round just to get to the level 1 point of your meter. But in this game, you can probably get to a level 3 meter twice with each character. Also, they revised the groove point system. Essentially, the groove points dictate if you're going to get to an end boss, if you're going to get the secret mid boss in your arcade run. It just dictates how the game is going to end for you. Man, I love that super cancel. That right there is why this is one of my favorite games. So yeah, they're way more lenient with how you can finish rounds. In the original CVS, you had to finish every single round with a super, or else you would lose points. And it was very strange. You would get penalized. If you just tried to use a heavy punch to end and KO a character, you would lose points on it. If you lost a round, you would lose like half of your group points, and it would just ruin your chances of getting to the secret bosses. But in this game, they're much more lenient and fair. There's there's not even 4, there's like 5 different endings, maybe 6 or more different endings for this game, because there's a couple different bosses. Or you could play not so great and you don't even get to those bosses.
Live and let die.
I believe if you get 800 groove points, by the end of the 4th fight, you get a mid-boss, and it's Geese or M. Bison. And if you get over 1,000 groove points, then you get to fight Rugal or Akuma. And if you get over 1,500, depending on which groove, if you pick an SNK groove or a Capcom groove, then you'll get God Rugal and Shin Akuma. So it's pretty cool. It gives you that replay value where, depending on how you perform and which grooves you pick, you're going to have a different outcome. So that's how, you know, years later, people are still finding stuff. And this game is still viable. Come on, bruh. No, you robbed me. Wanted to do that super cancel. I love doing those. It's so satisfying. In C groove, you can do roll cancels and you can do super cancels. You can start a super and then get... Yeah, see, I love that. Just roll right through that fireball. You can start a super and then go into another one if you time it properly. So I think that's pretty fun. That's one of the nuances with this groove specifically. You can't do that with all of them. Some of them have parries and just defends. Some of them you can roll, you can dodge. It's just a really interesting game because there's just so many different ways to play it. It's like 6 different games in one.
Live and let die. Fight.
Another aspect of the original game that they fixed, I would say, is their currency system. In the original game, you would get points for each arcade run, and you could use those points in this item shop system they had, where you would basically be able to buy unlockable characters and different stages, different colorways for characters, stuff like that. But they were very cheap and stingy with how many points they gave you. So I unlocked everything in that game. I own it. I also own that game. I also own Pro, CVS Pro, the original, the upgraded version. And I unlocked everything the right way. And it took me months of playing this game every day to get everything unlocked. So I thought that was kind of ridiculous. There's cheats for it and stuff, but I just wanted to kick it OG and play the game, and it took a minute. Like, I was chiseling away at that, trying to gain points, just constantly running arcade runs. I was sick of that game by the time I got everything unlocked. But they basically fixed that in the updated version of Capcom vs. SNK Pro. That game came out a couple months before this, and it had more balancing changes that fit in line with this. It was easier to build meter like this game. It didn't take the entire round just to be able to get a super. And also, they just gave you access to everything out the box. They got rid of the item system. They were like, okay, you want to unlock the characters, you want to play with this, you want to have these stages, here you go. They didn't lock it behind all that stuff like they did in the original game. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, this game is so fun, man. I just love labbing these combos and doing these super cancels and stuff. It's just really fun mixing and matching the different teams. I love the ratio system. That was another thing they changed. In the original CVS, you could get 4 ratio 1 characters. Essentially, the ratio dictates how much health and damage your character is going to output. If you pick a ratio 4 character, you only have 4 ratio points. So if you pick a ratio 4, they're going to be super strong and OP, and you can only have 1. But if you pick a ratio 3, they're going to be pretty strong, and you can pair them with a weaker level 1. Or you could pick 2 ratio 2s, and they're pretty average. Or you could pick 2 ratio 1s and a ratio 2, so you would have a team of 3. They stopped the option in this game to have teams of 4, where you have 4 weak low tiers. And all of the characters were fixed ratios too, so there were certain characters like Akuma, who's just a ratio 4, he was just stuck on his own. You could not play the game, the original CVS, with Akuma and a different character. You could not mix and match. They did include a pairing mode for a 2v2 mode, but I don't believe that was in the original. That wasn't the original way to play the game. But in Pro, there is a pairing option for 2v2, regardless of the ratio. But in this game, they just cut the leash off. They were like, yo, you want to play the game? Here you go. Let's do a level 3. Let's finish it. What? What the heck was that? Yeah, I love the original game because it just has so much charm. It has so much character. It's just a cool game, but it had some quirks that they addressed in this game. There's people who have issues with this game. There's people who complain about this. A lot of the early reviews when this game dropped, a lot of the reviewers were complaining about the visuals and a lot of the sprites, like the Morgan sprite. It's really old. It was almost 10 years old when this game came out. So yeah, you can complain that the visuals aren't that great, but I mean, mechanically, it's just a really fun game. Like, it's just very different. It's a great love letter to both franchises. It's just really fun. So this is that fight I was telling you about, where if you get over 800 group points, then you get to this fight. If I had less than 800 points above my time at the center, at the top of the screen, then I would not have had this fight, and I would have just kept going in my arcade room. Oh boy, I'm getting cooked. I'm trash. Come on. Yep. Cancel this. Oh, I missed. Oh no, I'm trash. Jump. I want him to jump. He's not doing it. There we go. That should reach. I'll chip him. Okay, I'll count it. Yeah, so C Groove is one of my favorite grooves because it just gives you the option of different levels of supers. You can have a level 1 if you use a light punch or light kick. You get a medium, level 2, or the heavy level 3 where you use your entire meter for a pretty big, extravagant super.
This is what the world is watching.
A Groove is really fun in this game too because you have custom combos where you can just juggle people off screen and get all crazy. Dan has a crazy infinite in this game. There's a couple characters that are super broken and cheesy, but I mean, it's just a really fun game if you dive into it.
Live and let die.
Blanca is a top tier that a lot of people spam. What the heck? There we go. It's like, why am I just like punching the air away from him? Get in there. No. That's right there. Hey. Oh. There we go. So we're going to get one of the busted boss fights because I'm already above 1,500 group points. Yikes. C Groove, I would say, is the easiest groove to get groove points. I would say K Groove and S are probably the hardest just because you have so many options in C Groove to use supers, and supers are how you get more points. And especially if you like get perfects on the AI and stuff. If you perform really well, then you're gonna get more groove points. So I would say C Groove is probably the easiest if you're trying to get to those crazy boss rage fights at the end. This is the best way to do it. A Groove is also a good one because you have crazy custom combos, so you can do like really insane like 50 hit combos with certain characters, and like you can just juggle people and get really gnarly with it. So those are probably the two best grooves if you just want to get a high score. Let's see if I can finish it. Nope, it's too late. That sucks. I didn't time it right. It's a pretty small window to be able to do those super cancels. Over 2,000. Golly. Yeah, we're in there. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna see if I can get it in one go, but yikes. So typically the game would end right here if I got under 1,000 groove points. This animation right here is exclusive to if you get 1,000 groove points or above. So that's pretty cool. There's that replay factor. Shin Akuma. This is GG's right here. Wish me luck. Let's see if we can get it. The AI, I mean, it's kind of cheap, but it's still predictable even though it is super cheap. It basically just tries to rush you down and just input read everything. But you can beat it. Jeez. Yeah, it just input reads you all crazy. I can't really get anything off, but you can figure it out. There's ways to cheese it. No way. That's crazy. Alright. Yeah, see, it just like cheeses you all crazy. And the difficulty, it just spikes so aggro on this fight too. Like, it's so aggressive compared to the rest of the arcade run. Jeez. That's it. It's GG's. I'm chopped. Like, I couldn't even hit the ground. So yeah, this is Capcom vs. SNK 2. This is one of my favorite games. I didn't play too hot in this run, but yeah, maybe we can do a boss raid some other time. I just wanted to show off the game and highlight how this Dreamcast port is special. It's a very cool game. This was the first cross-platform console game ever. The Sega Dreamcast deserves so much better. We really let Sega down because they really innovated and they pushed the envelope, and people just slept on them because, you know, arcade games weren't cool at the time, which is pretty unfortunate. I love arcade games. I love games like this, but that wasn't popular with, you know, the everyday American kid at the time. Salute.